MG, 1996 to 2024. Five significant themes. 1996, we see Michael Jordan's Olympic victory. We see Atlanta host the Olympics. We see African American child poverty rates drop. We see million women march. We see racial tensions in U.S. politics. 1997, we see Tiger Woods win the Masters. We see African American child poverty rate continue to decline. Million women march continues. The congressional gold medal to the Little Rock Nine. African American cultural renaissance. 1998, we see Michael Jordan's sixth championship. We also see Rosa Parks honored with her gold medal. Affirmative action debate starts. African American music influences. So we see a lot of hip hop taking over mainstream. African American film achievements. We see films like Beloved and Bamboozled. 1999, Rosa Parks receives the Congregational Medal. And then we see Amadou Diallo's death. Oh my goodness, I butchered that. Thank you. 23-year-old African immigrant dies by four New York City policemen. Cultural renaissance, African American artist Spike Lee is in charge of music and film. You see the NAACP and civil rights movement that continue to fight and through legal battles and activism. You see Eddie Murphy's breakthrough in comedy and film. 2000, Venus Williams wins Wimbledon. Gold medal for Venus and Serena Williams. South Carolina Confederate flag controversy begins. Michael Jordan's influence in basketball takes over. Kanye West's rise in music comes in 2000. The Maya Little was born.
The Maya Little was born in 2000.
2001, we see Colin Powell becomes Secretary of State. Condoleezza Rice named National Security Advisor. Roman Catholic Bishop Wilton Gregory becomes the first African American to serve as president of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops. The Harlem Renaissance continues. So we also have economic growth for the African American entrepreneurs. 2002, Vonetta Flowers wins the Olympic gold. Halle Berry wins Best Actress Oscar, becoming the first African American woman to win the Academy Award for Best Actress. The rise of African American media moguls. So you see Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry expand their influence on television, films, and publishing. Increased African American representation in politics as well. You see Michael Jackson's continued influence. 2003, affirmative action Supreme Court ruling upholds the use of race in college admission, and Greta versus Bollinger impacted the African American student population. Bernice Armour becomes the first African American female combat pilot. Hurricane Katrina response to Hurricane Katrina. Let's see, African American representation in film and TV. So you see shows like Bernie Mac Show and Girlfriends gaining popularity. Spike Lee's influence continues. 2004, Barack Obama is elected as U.S. Senate. He becomes the third African American elected U.S. Senate. Let's see, after Reconstruction. Kanye West, The College Dropout, releases. Barry Bonds hits 700th home run. Condoleezza Rice becomes Secretary of State again. Let's see, African American culture and the arts begin to influence music, literature, continues to grow, like Alicia Keys, Denzel Washington. They grow as global sensations. Let's see, Hurricane Katrina and displacement. African American communities face extreme hardship and displacement. Black Hollywood's rise. So you see figures like Will Smith and Tyler Perry take over, and as far as Hollywood moguls is concerned, the hip hop industry grows as well, and African American representation in Hollywood. We see figures like Denzel Washington, Jamie Foxx, and the representation of Training Day and Ray. 2006, we have, I'm so sorry, copy and paste that one, that's an error. 2007, we have Grandmaster Flash inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We see the rise of Barack Obama. We see Kyle Walker's major art exhibit. It shows the exploration of race and African American identity in contemporary art. Black voices in media, the expansion of African American voices. The growth of African American entrepreneurship is also in 2007. 2008, Barack Obama is elected president. Also, Jay-Z breaks record. The Blueprint 3 surpasses Elvis's record for most #1 album. Oprah Winfrey continues to impact media. The hip hop industry reaches globally, so it's globally impacting cultures. So 2009, we see Eric Holder becomes Attorney General, the first African American Supreme Court Justice nominee, Sonia Sotomayor, Mayor. African American representation in film, again, Tyler Perry, Denzel Washington, and Halle Berry continue to break grounds. In Hollywood, Michael Jackson's sudden death, unfortunately, and Beyonce's global influence. 2010, we have Rosalind M. Brock becomes the NAACP chair. We also see the first Black female combat pilot in the U.S. Marine Corps. African American involvement in healthcare reform, the growth of African American influence online, and Tyler Perry's continued success. 2011, we see the rise of hashtag, oh my goodness, why can't I read that? The rise of, oh my gosh, y'all, I'm having a slow moment. Can y'all help me?
Occupy movement.
Thank you guys. The rise of the Occupy movement, the Occupy Wall Street movement, that is. The first African American woman in space, Dr. Mae Jemison. We see Reverend Al Sharpton in the fight for racial justice. We see President Obama's re-election campaign begin, and African American representation in art. Again, Jay-Z and Tyler Perry and all of the moguls. 2012, unfortunate death of Trayvon Martin. The election of the first African American president's second term. African American advocacy for voting rights. Beyonce's involvement in political activism. You see her the beginning of her activism. Hip hop and activism. A lot of folks take to their platform to bring attention to injustices. In 2013, you see Black Lives Matter movement was founded. And Supreme Court invalidates key parts of voting rights acts. The Supreme Court ruling in Shelby County versus Holder invalidates part of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, prompting a wave of new voter ID laws in states with significant African American populations. Racial tension and African American politics, or in American politics. Growth of African American business ownership. You see also Oprah Winfrey's legacy. In 2014, we see Michael Brown's death and the Ferguson's protest. We also witness Eric Garner's death and the I Can't Breathe protest. The role of African Americans in protest, the political influence of African Americans grow. Revival of African American literature. Barack Obama's leadership, Barack Obama's presidency continues to shape the national conversation as African Americans remain the central debate on healthcare, race relations, and criminal justice reform. 2015, hashtag Black Lives Matter movement expands. the Charleston church shooting, tragic shooting of 9 African-American churchgoers, and the Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. The Supreme Court upholds same-sex marriage. The 2015 Supreme Court ruling legalizing same-sex marriage is seen as a victory for civil rights. Rise of African-American feminism. Cultural influence of African-American artists. 2016, we have National Museum of African-American History and Culture opens, and this is open in Washington, D.C. In 2016, election of African-American voter suppression. Colin Kaepernick's protest against police brutality, the impact of African-American women in politics. Black Lives Matter's global influence. 2017, we see the march of racial injustice. We see the rise of Black women in politics. Colin Kaepernick continued to protest. The Me Too movement and African-American women join hand in hand. Black Panther movie phenomenon begins. Wakanda Forever 2018, Stacey Abrams' historic run. We see National African American Museum celebrates milestone. African American voices in Hollywood continue to spark conversations about race and identity. Charlottesville and the push for racial equality, the violent rally by white supremacists in Charlotte, Virginia sparks protests and renewed calls for racial justice. 2019, Oprah Winfrey's impact on politics and culture. African American representation in Congress grows. Tyler Perry Studios and legacy. We see a surge in African American voting. Hashtag Black and Broke movement and grassroots movement highlighting the systematic financial inequalities African Americans face. 2020, we see George Floyd's death in global protest. 2019, we see, we have contact with COVID. In 2020, COVID-19 disproportionately impacts African Americans. Historic Black voter turnout. Kamala Harris elected vice president, and protest against police violence and racial inequality continues. 2021, we see Joe Biden's inauguration in the African American vote. Kamala Harris as vice president, the push for police reform. We see more activism from Beyonce. We have social justice movements in Hollywood's reckoning. 2022, we see African American voter mobilization in midterms. Racial justice movements continue, growth of African American businesses, historic representation in politics, and Black entertainment impacts. 2023, we see African American representation in leadership roles. We see Juneteenth become the federal holiday. The fight for reparations continues. Several cities and states explore reparations for African Americans as discussions around racial equality, reparations, and the legacy of slavery gain national attention. African American artists and cultural influence continue. Progress and criminal justice reform. Efforts to reform the criminal justice system continue with African American activists and organizations leading calls for the reduction of mass incarceration and a more equitable legal system. 2024, we see the presidential election and African American voter turnout. African American voters continue to play a decisive role in the 2024 presidential elect. And leadership in corporate America, more African Americans rise to CEO positions. African American innovation in technology. African Americans increasingly make their mark in technology and innovation. Cultural renaissance in African American music. African American music popularity and hip hop, R&B, and jazz continue to shape the global music scene. Civil rights activism in the next generation. Young African Americans young African American activists continue leadership and lead organizations like Black Lives Matter and continue to push for systematic change, focusing on issues like racial justice, economic equality, and police reform. And this is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much.